is being transmitted to you on 105.2 megahertz ether and 103.8 cable. Radio Voice of Naija, your popular radio program on Radio Razo. Give us a call as we discuss midlife crisis. What is it and why should I care? With Professor Ambassador Rono of Kenya Embassy. Well, welcome back to this session, Mom, and we continue with our interview. Which behaviors do victims of midlife crisis exhibit? I think we've discussed that.
Yes, we have.
Right.
Yes, we have.
So, how long? That's a very good one. How long does the crisis last in men and also in women?
For men, they last longer, anywhere between 2 years to 10 years. But for women, it's a shorter time, between 2 to 5 years. And again, I think it also does reflect the lifestyles between men and women. You remember, most women tend to spend more time with the children, with their mother-in-law, with the in-laws, and takes care of the in-laws at that stage. Yeah. So she's surrounded more by many people, while the men most of the time are out, and they tend to be more a little bit removed. You know, we women, we talk about our problems. We are very expressive. When something is hurting you, you talk about it. Exactly. So women can easily talk through their problem and get suggestions on how to solve them. Yeah. But men tend to keep it to themselves and resort to these other behaviors, which takes them longer to get out of the problem. So in the extreme case, men can do even up to age 60. When they are still experiencing this midlife crisis. Yes. And we encourage men to be open and to talk about what they are going through, and that way they can be assisted to deal with it.
More especially the African men.
Oh yes, yes, the African men are very macho. They like to act tough. They like to act like they don't get bothered, that they are not, don't get emotional. But it means that they bottle everything within themselves. Yes. And when you bottle everything within yourself, then it will come out. But it may come out in negative behavior, which may not be helpful to you and your family. So it's good to find ways of getting help or talking about it. And that is one of the reasons why men take longer to come out of the midlife crisis.
So those men who are bullying their families are probably going through this. And we call it domestic violence.
It is very likely that this could be one of the reasons that normally leads to abuse of one spouse, because when you have so many problems and you don't, or when you perceive to have many problems and you don't have a means of dealing with them, then you take it upon those who are closest to you. Yes. And unfortunately, and while it would have been much easier if that is talked about and actually resolved.
Yes. Yeah. So this is going to be our last question because of our time. But what sort of therapy, if any, is available for people in midlife crisis?
Actually, the first and most important thing is to always remember that there are alternatives in life. That just because, for example, you have lost a job, that's not the end of the world. Okay. Just because you are not as rich or as more endowed with compared to your age mates or to your colleagues, it doesn't mean that you are not of value. Yeah. So it's realizing that there are alternatives in life. Okay. That is the first step. Secondly, also those women, for example, who take on younger wives or younger girlfriends, it is always good to remember that your wife has gone through the same process as you have. You have aged, your wife has aged. Yeah. And your wife is your best friend. Yeah. And so acknowledging that is very, very, very important.
Very, very, yes.
She is the person whom you have fed for all your life.
Yes.
And she understands you.
Yes.
Taking another wife will not take away the crisis that you are going through. It is just a pacifier, but it will probably create more problems for you in the process. So accepting your wife as your helpmate, somebody you have grown all together, goes a long way in helping you to resolve the problem much faster. Also, accepting the fact that all of us age. God created us in a way that one day we are born and one day we grow old and we
Yes.
die. We cannot be 21 years or 29 years forever. Accepting aging gracefully and using the opportunity of your age,
Yes.
of your experience, of your wisdom,
Yes.
and use that to build,
Yes.
to impart to the
us.
generation
Yes.
that you are actually molding for the future.
Yes.
So take that as an opportunity. You are an elder, you are an experienced person. That
Yes.
is a positive thing.
Yes.
And using it as a means of
Yes.
training and bringing up the generation. That is a fulfillment. That can bring fulfillment to you
It's true.
as an individual.
Yes.
And then also, buying toys
Mentors.
will not take away the problem. It will make your pocket, it will put holes in your pocket. It will make your money less, but it will not take away the pain in your heart. So, building your family, spending time with your family, going away with your wife and having some good time together
Yes.
are opportunities that will enable you to overcome some of these problems. And when you are not able to,
Yes.
when you get into alcoholism, for
Yes.
example,
Yes.
or behaviors that you have no control over, it is always good to go to a psychologist or a therapist that can help you examine the problems that you are going through in a positive and neutral way and look for solutions on how you can be able to get back on track. Otherwise, there is no problem that cannot be solved. Midlife crisis problems we create because of how we are feeling or how we are seeing the world.
Yes.
But once we acknowledge first and foremost that this is just a phase,
Yes.
and the phase will end,
Yeah.
we will be able to seek help when you cannot cope anymore.
Wow.
There is always help
Yes.
when you cannot cope.
Yes.
But otherwise, being realistic, embracing your family is very important.
So, Her Excellency, what is your final word of advice to our listeners out there who must have heard us this morning?
My final message is that we need to acknowledge that midlife crisis, changes that happens to us in our midlife,
Awesome.
are natural,
Yes.
physical,
Yes.
psychological processes, and we should accept them, understand them,
Yes.
and deal with them through getting help from those who are close to us, who love us, and when we are defeated, then we seek psychological help. For menopause, you can always get medical care
Yes.
to get rid of the menopausal problems that may make the midlife crisis more difficult.
Yes.
But otherwise, we are human. And because we are human, we experience that time in our lives when we age, and we accept aging as a positive aspect.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you, Her Excellency. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mommy. Thank you for being with us this morning. May God richly bless you. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you too. Thanks, listeners.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, listeners out there, you have heard us, and I believe that you have enjoyed this section with Her Excellency, Professor Ruti.